Hello everyone, today's lesson is about the Philippine Constitution, evolution of the Philippine Constitution. Think of Constitution like a rule of book. For a country, it explains how the government works and what right people have. The Philippines has had several rule books. Throughout history, it's reflecting the country changing needs and experience. Before we formally proceed to our topic, so let's meet my group. So I wish Miti Sukatan together with Michi, Raiza, Loel, Cal, Charlotte, Victoria, and lastly, um, Nika. So let's have our learning objective. Explain the structures, powers of the three branches of the Philippine government. Describe the process for amending the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Identify the rules of case constitutional commissions, the office of the ombudsman. Compare the unitary and federal forms of government, including their advantage and disadvantage. Analyze past attempts to revise the constitution and the motivations behind the push for federalism in the Philippines. So, evolution of the Philippine Constitution. So, imagine a group of friends playing a game. Everyone needs to agree on the rules so the game is fair and fun. So, a constitution is like that. For a country, it is a set of rules that everyone agrees to follow, so the government can work properly and everyone is treated fairly. Or it's a set of fundamental principles or precedents by which a state is government. Unite distinct groups under shared and principle defines the government. So, Constitution ay parang rule book ng bansa na nagsisilbing gabay para sa lahat. Kung may hindi sumusunod dito, ito ay labag sa batas. So, also when we talk about constitutions, this is the foundation of the system of the government ng ating bansa, which is the Philippines. So, ibig sabihin ay nandito lahat kung paano ba patatakbuhin ang isang bansa or kung paano ba ito pamumunuan, bibigyan ng pagkakataon ng isang bansa na mapaunlad at mapatakbo ang sarili nito. So ngayon punta naman tayo sa function ng Constitution. The Constitution serve as the supreme fundamental law. So anong ibig sabihin nito? So this is established the basic framework and underlying principles of the government. Ang ibig sabihin po nito ay this is the basis of the making laws. Wala po tayong batas na pwedeng gawin na hindi tumutugma sa sinasabi ng Constitution. So the Philippine Constitution is a living document. It grows with the nations. It reminds everyone that democracy, fairness, and freedom are the heart of the Philippines by understanding it. So Filipinos can protect their rights and hold leaders accountable. So let's proceed to the overview of the Philippine Constitution. So let's have a 1899 Malolos Constitution, 1935 Commonwealth Constitution, 1973 Martial Law Constitution, 1986 Freedom Constitution, and last is 1987 Present Constitution. Let's have the Philippine Constitution, which is the Malolos Constitution. So Malolos Constitution was the first official rule book in the Philippines, created after countries fought for independence from Spain. So it's established the first Philippine Republic, showing the world that Filipinos could govern themselves. So the Filipinos had been fighting for independence from Spain for many years. In 1897, they agreed to a truce, but the Spanish still controlled the country. Filipino leaders, including General Emilio Aguinaldo, accepted the payment from Spain. Went to excel in the Hong Kong. But the fight for freedom wasn't over. In 1898, the United States went to war with Spain. The Americans won a big a big victory in the Battle of Manila Bay. So, and the Spanish lost control for the Philippines. So, the American then brought Aguinaldo back to the Philippines, hoping he would help them defeat the Spanish. So, with the Spanish defeated, Aguinaldo took back control of the Filipino Revolutionary Forces on June 12, 1898. He declared the Philippines independent from Spain and the first Philippine Republic was born. So after the winning of independence from Spain, the Filipinos elected representative to the Malolos Congress. This is the group of leaders meet in the town of Malolos, Bulacan, to create a government for the new republic. Like they wanted to decide how the country would be run, and they wanted to make sure that Filipino had a say in their own future. So Malolos Congress chose a group of people to write a constitution. They worked hard on November 29, 1898. So like they finished the political constitution of 1899. So it was written in Spanish, the language used in the Philippines at that time. So the constitutions declared the Philippines are an independent nation called the First Philippine Republic. So the Philippines was no longer this time that um the Philippines was no longer under the Spanish rule. So the Filipino had their own government with three branches, which is the president or leader, Congress or lawmakers, courts or judge. So on January 21, 1899, the Malolos Constitution was officially declared. This marked the beginning of the first Philippine Republic. So Emilio Aguinaldo was elected as the president. So this was a very important moment for the Philippines because it showed the world that Filipinos were ready to govern themselves. So, promulgated means officially announced or put into effect. The Malolos Constitution was officially put into effect on January 21, 1899. This was the day that the first Philippine Republic was born. The Malolos Constitution was written in a vacuum. It was influenced by other constitutions from around the world. Yeah. For example, it borrowed ideas from the Spanish Constitution of 1812 with the French Constitution of 1793. Like this is a constitution had ideas about democracy and individual rights that the Filipino uh, wanted to include in their own document. So the Malolos Congress formed a committee to write the constitution. One of the most important members of the committee was Felipe Calderon. He was a lawmaker, a lawyer. Yeah, he was a lawyer, a strong supporter of the Filipino independence. He worked with the other leaders to create documents that would lay out the basic rules for new government. So the Malolos Constitution was a symbol of Filipino hopes for independence and self-governance, even though it was a short life. It showed that world Filipinos were capable of creating their own government and defining their own future. It remains a significant milestone in the history of the Philippines.